This is Jilliana Ranicar-Breese. I'm back with Graham Russell, who is in fact a life coach, and he's going to tell me how he got into life coaching. How many years ago would you say?
Roughly. Let's think. It must be about maybe 14 years.
I was going to say 15, you know, because it was... It's obviously very popular, trendy, etc. Now, you met somebody through a friend. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I was working in Liverpool at the time. I was working on Hollyoaks as an art director. And, my good friend Cheryl, who I had stayed with in Liverpool, she was coming down to London to I suppose it was a book launch. I can't remember what it was an American lady from New York. She was a coach. She'd written a book, and I'll let the name will come to me in a minute. Anyway, so I wasn't particularly keen on seeing this woman because I didn't really know what coaching was or life coaching. It was brand new.
Yeah, in this country, but not in America.
Yeah, it was brand new. It was brand new over here. What was her name?
Not to worry. Go on.
Yeah. So, and I thought, well, actually, this would be a cheap trip to London because my partner was living in London at the time. So I thought, I'd get a free ride to London. So we went to this book launch, and this woman was talking about coaching, and she was an actress, but couldn't really get any work in acting. So then she started doing coaching, and I was so inspired by her and by her work. And
this is the lady who wrote the book.
The lady that wrote the book, yeah, she was doing this book.
Was she English or American?
She was American from New York.
Well, the Americans are always the best.
Absolutely. And I thought, I didn't know such a job existed. I really didn't know such a job existed. And I thought, do you know, this would be the perfect job for me? And I was so inspired.
You bought her book.
I got a book and had a chat with her afterwards, and she gave me a list of coaches, because I thought, actually, although this could be the perfect job for me, I actually need a coach because I was working so much in my job in Liverpool at the studios. I mean, literally, it was just full on.
So there were the life coaches in the UK at that time?
Well, there were, and I did ring a few, and it was interesting because I didn't know kind of what to look for. I didn't know what questions to ask. And then one of the coaches in London said to me, actually, I think I know the perfect person for you. And this is this lady who lives in New York State. She was up at the top of New York. And I said, well, there's no way I can be ringing New York. And she said, listen,
cheaper to go.
She said, don't worry about that. She said, again, it's that thing, don't put obstacles in your way.
Yeah.
She said, don't worry about that because you can get cheap calls and there are ways around it. So anyway, I kind of forgot about it for a bit. And then I was off work. I had a flu. I was cold. I was laid up in bed. And then I thought, actually, there was this woman. I thought, well, I'll give her a ring. And I was off work, sick. So I rang this woman, and she said, well, I said, listen, I don't know what to ask you. I don't know what questions, but I'm looking for a life coach. I want to change my life in some way. And she said, well, have you got some time now? I said, yeah, I do. She said, well, let's just have a session. So we had a session. I came off that phone feeling amazing. I was so energized. I hoovered my complete flat.
What was the woman's name?
Her name was Edie Pereira. She was amazing.
Okay.
And then, I signed up to her.
Did you eventually get to meet her?
I've never met her.
Oh.
I've never met her.
Okay.
No. In fact, when I was in America, I contacted her and said I'm going to be in New York, thinking New York, but she lives in New York State. But right at the top. So, no, I never got to meet her. But yeah, and so therefore that's when my coaching journey began, and then my career really changed through having coaching.
Didn't you go to California? Wasn't there somebody I even knew the name, a famous life coach?
Don't know. I mean, I have been to California, yeah, but that came later.
Well, maybe it was New York, but you trained with someone who was very well known. One of the Leading Lights.
Right.
I just can't think of the name. It was a woman.
Okay. Oh. So Edie.
It wasn't her.
No. I'm just
Not to worry.
trying to think who
Okay.
the other person was. Yeah.
But you trained in London.
I after all my coaching with Edie, then I realised actually I really would like to do this professionally.
Yes.
Once I kind of got myself together, and actually really could see the power of coaching and how much it can really help people. So that's then I joined the Coaches Training Institute, and I did my training or my coach training with them
In London.
in London,
Right.
and then I went to do the professional certification. And then after that, I then went to the States and did the Coaching Training Institute Leadership Program, which is was 10 months program.
Who with?
That's with the Coaches Training Institute.
Oh, I see.
And
Okay.
that was really quite life transforming. Yeah.
It would be
Yeah.
in America.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, quite. It's
Full on.
it's not for the faint-hearted. Yeah.
But don't you specialise in something?
Literally through the leadership, working with leadership, because I like teamwork, and I realised how important kind of teamwork is, and then I kind of went into relationship coaching, because
Same gender, isn't it?
everything. Yeah, I mean, I sort of specialise in same-sex.
That's right. That's
couples.
what I thought. Yes.
Yeah, in same-sex.
Because you were on our
coaching.
radio programme talking about that, Brighton and Hove
That's
Community
right.
Radio.
Yes, yeah. And
That's a while ago now.
yeah, so a lot of couple. It's not couple counselling, but it's couple coaching. It's really about understanding who you are in a relationship and creating the relationship. So it's kind of pretty new doing that sort of work.
So is that sort of groundbreaking in the UK, would you say?
I think it is. It's interesting because I created a workshop for same-sex couples. I started it in California. I went to San Francisco and sort of launched it over there.
Why, didn't they have it?
They didn't have what I was offering.
Really?
Yeah, but they were very, very open to it. It's sold out, and even people were turning up on the night for coming in who hadn't signed up.
How long ago was that?
That was about 3 years ago.
And have you been back to do that?
So I haven't been back to do that, but then I ran the same workshop over here, exactly the same thing, and I actually did it in Pride Month over here, and not one person signed up.
Not one person phoned up?
Not one person.
How disappointing.
So that's kind of the difference between America and here. I mean, America, couples, we're just so open to getting help, because
yeah. Well, English people don't communicate very well, do they?
No,
They don't. They're not open, which is probably why I get on so well with foreigners, because they're more open.
Yeah, I think maybe it's the sunshine makes people more relaxed.
Unless you're in the arts or the creative world,
Yes.
naturally.
Yeah.
But you also had a mentor, didn't you? Michael.
Michael was my mum's cousin, and when I moved to Brighton, he kind of took me in hand and kind of showed me around Brighton. Yeah, he was sort of quite an inspiring. He was very inspiring about living life, just living life and taking life as you get older. Yeah.
He was a lot older than you?
Yeah, oh yes, he was. He was in his 70s, so he's probably about 30 years older than me.
Right. Well, we'll come back in part 3 and hear what Michael had to teach you.